So I'm gonna try not to do that and instead just start the show because we just went live with the show. It's us. I'm Brian. That's Pat. Welcome to Structure Gibberish Friday night stream. I was just telling Pat that I realized that the longer I talk for, when you got to talk for a long time, I start getting fairly incoherent after a while. I think I start that way a little bit, and then. But anyway, no. What I want.
I actually think that it's the opposite of what you think.
What
Because
is that?
every one of the streams I've ever like quietly sat in on, where I
You
didn't like
lurking on my
join you.
streams?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, jeez.
Um I find I'm like, man, Brian does such a good job of filling the air without seeming like he's just talking for no reason. And you're a very good natural narrator.
Well, thank you, thank you.
So I think you're very good.
The
I'm gonna give you the Hulk Hogan in a hat seal of approval.
uh the Hulk Hogan and a hat thumbs up award. Yeah, it's interesting because the longer I stream for, the more my brain stops doing proper dictionary lookups. So it's like I start talking and I'm just like, and I'm just trying to think of a very simple common word here, and it is not coming to me. You know,
I think that is a classic example of you're the only one who notices it.
it's entirely possible. But now you
You
can
know.
listen and hear it.
Now I'll know. I'll
Yeah.
when next time I listen, I'll be like, oh ho ho, he can't think of
See,
the word he's trying to find.
he's
I
trying
mean
to think of the word blue.
that happens to me all the time, like every day
Mhm.
for the entire day. So
So, what I wanted to start the show with, the thing that I just remembered, and it was sitting right here on my desk, and I forgot to put it in the list at first, but look at this figure of me as the
I
Mandalorian.
was gonna ask you about this. That
His
doesn't
boy,
look
hold on.
bad.
I set up a button so I could switch to the crappy camera that
Oh,
autofocuses.
good. Yeah.
So, will it? Hang on, let me get my hand behind it here to kind of force it to autofocus here. Do it. There we go. So it's okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
They didn't have my exact hair, but my hair kind of used to look like this, so I just
It
went with
did.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been regretting my hair choice. I don't even have mine yet, and I'm like, I think I made a bad choice.
I have heard people say that their eyes were like misaligned and stuff, but
Oh,
mine came out
jeez.
looking pretty
Yeah,
good.
no, that I think that looks.
So
Do you have your? I know you ordered those glasses. Do you have the glasses? Can we see like a?
I do. So hang on. They came in this tiny little box.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope I don't lose them. They're so this camera makes my skin look awful. It looks sick.
You look like you're wearing lipstick right now.
I
I'm not
know.
gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah, I do. Oh god. I gotta okay. This camera does not react well to the lighting behind me.
Uh-huh.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, it's like picking up the.
Nope, still doing it. Okay. Well, anyway, this is the glasses. Super duper teeny tiny glasses. Hold on. See if I can.
Yeah.
So these I got from a third party seller that Pat recommended to me. And so the thing is,
Are those metal
no,
or
they're
are they?
plastic.
They're like a 3D printed.
I have no idea what they are, but they are super super flimsy. But what it looks like is that they are entirely transparent and then painted black.
Interesting.
Because they have lenses, like they're not
Okay.
holes. They
Okay.
have wait, do they? Wait, no, hold on. Now I can't tell.
They're
Hold
so
on.
good you don't know.
Okay, because there's like a quantum effect going on here. I'm switching to the other camera. Right now, I'll leave it. So, okay, ready? Wait, no, I missed. Yeah, okay, no, there's no
Okay,
lenses.
so
Never mind.
no lenses.
No lenses. I thought there were because it's like it's so tiny. I mean, you could almost see a reflection in them, but it's just like
Right?
this space-time warping. So anyway, let's see if I can get these on here. They're really hard to stay on because they're not made for this guy. It's really hard to keep them on, but no.
I feel like that does really help with the likeness, given that I only ever see you in glasses.
I know.
Um,
Come on, focus. Focus up. There we go. What do you think?
yeah, I think that's pretty darn good. I wish they had your hair.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had this hair, honestly. If I could use this hairstyle again in real life, I would do it. But I didn't want to switch back to me. I wanted to switch back to both of us. But yeah, it's the thing is the hair is like it's like really solid, and if I could get the side of the glasses to go under the hair, that'd be cool. I mean, if I could get
I was
tiny
see.
little drill, you
I was
know,
gonna say
drill out a
I
little
was
spot.
very curious about that too, about how because we know that they attach the hair, later.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that maybe it was easy to get off because, like I
Hmm.
said, my hair, the hair I chose, is like this, where it comes down. But it's much longer. It's like it would give me the impression of it being about at least 6 inches longer than my hair is now, and I'm already considering cutting my hair. So it's like, when I cut my haircut's going to cost me like $80 because 20 of it's going to go to supercuts and 60 of it's going to go to buying another figure.
Yeah. You're locked in now.
I know.
So
Tough.
one thing about this figure is that it also comes with the jetpack, and
Nice.
I don't know where the cape is supposed to go.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. You can't have fun both ways. You have to
No,
leave the jetpack off or leave the cape off. One
I
of the
could
two.
I could do side cape with
Oh,
it.
there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
you can do a cool side cape.
You gotta invest in a cloth cape.
Exactly. Yeah,
Cloth cape.
exactly.
You.
This cape almost kind of looks like it has a molded hood
Uh huh.
that's laying down. I don't think it's intended to do that. I think it's just supposed to be how it lays. But what you will note, there's no helmet because it doesn't come with a helmet. I cannot
Right.
turn this into the actual Mandalorian. I mean, not that I would have wanted to because I wanted to have my head on it, but it would have been cool to have him like able to hold his helmet,
Right.
you know? But in reality, what would have happened is he would have just been holding his like severed head in the helmet, like
Yeah.
Jango Fett style.
Uh, I was wondering about that too. Like, if you ordered a stormtrooper, do you get the trooper helmet as well? Because, like, why would you need it except for to hold it?
Yeah.
Um,
I
I'll
haven't
tell you what
I
I'm
haven't
really,
looked
really
at
wondering
take
though.
well that was easy. I was gonna say I haven't looked at taking the head off yet, but how
I mean, they
easy
look
is
very
it?
sturdy. Like, does it feel 3D printed at all? Because they print
No,
the head, right?
yeah, they do. They print the head with the resin type printer, a
Hmm.
really high quality one. It does not feel 3D printed at all. It feels like the ball neck and the
Uh-huh.
head piece are the exact same kind of plastic. Like it's
Nice.
super hard, very smooth. It doesn't look 3D printed at all.
Yeah,
It's
no,
very
it
shiny,
looks
just like
looks
my
really
own
good.
skin. Um, I feel like even if we had just a Mandalorian helmet, it would still look okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, whatever. So there I am, flying around with my pitchfork gun. Do I have any blast effects I could stick on there? Sitting around? Probably not. No. Wait. No. No, no, I don't.
Hold on a second. I have to let my dog in the room. I can hear her crying downstairs. Hold on.
Special guest, Pat's dog. I've got like literally everything sitting on this desk, and I don't have a single blast effect. This is a failure of organization or failure of lack of organization is what it is. But anyway, he does come with every single other one of his accessories. Like he's got his sidearm that you can take out of the thing there. Um, I mean, I guess that's it. He doesn't have any other accessories. But
But
you could.
he didn't come with a baby Yoda for you to hold.
He did not. No, he didn't. But I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it.
I think it looks very good. I'm excited to get mine. I'm still pissed though because I ordered mine like 4 hours after you did.
Yeah, well, so did everybody else.
I guess. I mean, I tell you, I loved. Um, I emailed Hasbro after you got yours, and I was just like, I just want an update, because they gave me. I mean, and in fact, they gave me an update before they gave you an update. And they said, "Hey, your head is printed, and it's on its way to get its hair, and then it's gonna get a body, and blah 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 blah."
Hmm.
I was like, "All right, cool, cool, cool," And then you were like, "Oh man, I haven't gotten any updates." I was like, "Oh man, that sucks. I got my update, ha ha ha." And, and then you were like, "Hey, I just got like several updates, and my figure is shipping." And I was like, "Ho ho ho!
Hmm.
Anytime now." And apparently that was incorrect. It was not
That
any time now. It is.
well,
I'm still waiting
depending on your
for even.
definition of any time.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I emailed them. I was just like, hey, just wanted to find out, if there was an issue or if there was an update or anything. And then there's like a plucky sounding nice person who emailed me back and said, hey, you remember when you ordered and we said that it would be ready on November 14th? Well, guess what? That's when we
that's
said it'll be ready.
that's what we, we it's still true.
And I was like, that really sucks. That is a bad response to my, because I know, because I deal with this all the time. People will I make art for t-shirts for those who don't know,
Hmm.
and people will email me all the time and say, hey, any update on when my stuff is ready, and I'll say, hey, you know what, it's in production, and if I know that it's going to be done soon, I'll say, hey, you know what, it's actually, looks like it's going to be printed tomorrow and you can come pick it up, great. Or I'll say, oh, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't have an update right now. I do have you down for, a week from tomorrow, and so you'll have it by then for sure, if not before.
Hmm.
That's how I talk to customers. This person was just like, nope, you remember that date we gave you, suck it.
Hmm. That's
And then what's even better is that the next day Hasbro emailed me and said, hey, how was your customer service?
it was direct and to the point.
And I mean, I was like, I emailed them back. I did the thing. I was like, you know what? In the comments area, I was just like, while the person did nothing wrong, they also did nothing to help me with my situation.
Hmm.
And that's a brief update. I think I've talked about this probably half a dozen times on the show before, but I have talked to Loot Crate again, because I
Yeah.
went ahead and just
Fill
updated all of my correspondence.
fill everybody in on that saga because that's an old
Yeah,
one.
it is, and it's super infuriating. So I emailed them right after I emailed Hasbro, actually, because I was like, hey, that's right, it's been a fucking year.
Hmm.
Um, and again, the very quick catch up here is that about a year ago, they said they had a choose your own crate. And basically, what that means is they say, hey, we got all this stuff left over from old crates. And so you can go in and say, okay, I would like this, this, this. So it's not a surprise what you're getting. You get to pick out your crate from like several different levels, which I actually think is a thing now. You can go on, and now it's costumes.com because it's all linked in with NECA somehow. It's a whole thing. Um, but anyway, I did this a year ago because they specifically had these really neat Universal Monster masks, like adult size Halloween masks, but they were based on the Remco 70s action figures, which I just thought was super cool that there was a mask specifically based on Frankenstein as an action figure. It's like it even had like the cuts in it for the head articulation, like everything was just perfect. um, I'd love to show them to you, but I don't have them.
Oh.
Um, so I ordered two crates so I could get the maximum amount of masks. Four masks. They were already sold out of two of the masks. So I had four of the six characters that they made. I was very excited. I even told one of our mutual friends about it, and he ordered a set so he could get a set in. His came in 2 weeks, much like my my stuff with Hasbro here.
Hmm.
Mine just never came.
Yeah.
So I have gone back and forth with customer service probably 6 or 7 times. And upon this most recent time, I got an email back after 2 days. I got an email in between that said, "We're so sorry that it's taking longer than normal to answer your your request, but an answer is coming soon." It's like, okay. One of the people who I've already talked to, a man's name is Errol, like Errol Flynn, like
Hmm.
Errol.
Hmm.
I have spoken to him a couple of times, and he responded back and said to this one, "Is there another email address that you use? Because nothing's coming up under this one."
Ah. They've It's been so long they've just purged the order entirely from their system.
And then he's like, "Well, can you tell me your name and your address and blah 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 blah." I was like, "Well, here's my fucking order numbers, which should be in your system,
Yeah. And
and here's my name and address and all this other." And I explained the whole situation. I said, "I've spoken to you before. I also listed the 4 other employees that I spoke with in this process." And I was like, "Listen, I want my money back."
hmm
Or I want you to say, pick from new products. They're like the notion that I was picking from products that already existed that should have just been laying around in a warehouse, and you telling me that shipping times are just delayed. Fuck off.
I mean,
Like it's
they
not real. They don't have the product to give me anymore.
shipping time delayed means like a week, 2 weeks, a month,
Right.
not
Not a
not a
year.
year.
Not a year. And I know Loot
No.
Crate has been going through all sorts of problems because they partnered with NECA.
hmm
And NECA is a great company when it comes to the products they produce looking good. NECA is plagued with issues of stuff kind of falling apart out of the box, or being really, really, really late when it comes to delivering product.
Yeah.
Um, so this did not bode well. It still doesn't bode well. I'm flabbergasted that they were like, "Is this the only email you got?" And this is the only email I've got. I've only had one email since I was like 14 years old, or no, whenever Gmail became a thing. Because I think I had the same email but at AOL for a while.
hmm
But yeah, I've only had one email address that I've used in the past 15 years.
So
Um,
so did you get at least your money back or
I've
something, or
gotten
is it?
nothing. I've gotten
Oh,
nothing. This is the latest update. I'm still waiting to hear back from his informational request that I filled in today. I gave him my name, address. Again, see, these people I don't think are very bright either, because I only put the order numbers in the subject.
oh, see, yeah, you hit it. You basically hit it
So
from them.
I right, because I'm an evil guy. So I made it real big. The numbers are about an inch and a half bigger than all the rest of the text. So
So
it's
they're
like,
not going to see
"These
it.
are
It's
the
like
order
missing the forest for the trees.
numbers." Right. They're really, "Sir, I don't see the order numbers. There's just these other numbers that are in the way, I think."
Yeah, I looked behind them.
But yeah, I can't find them. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'm getting very getting. I'm
They
pissed. I'm very pissed off about
did
this.
this to you 16 or
Uh,
17 more times. You're
right,
going to get
right.
mad.
I'm out of here. Yeah. It just, like I said, like they have good stuff, but it's not worth the hassle. Like, I was really excited about these crates, man. Those masks sounded awesome. I was cool enough with the masks. But then they also, because they were all, it was all Universal Monster themed, they had silver bullets that you put in the freezer and it's a whiskey chiller. That's like,
Do you,
that's so cool.
can I just ask you for a quick second?
Yeah.
Um, your dog,
Uh-huh.
Adora, right?
Yep, that's her name.
Why is she just like hanging out behind you, like spreading her legs all the time?
I
Why?
wish you
What?
knew. Wish you knew. Also, just so everybody's aware, yeah, I always screw that up. That's not an actual bike wheel. That's a Kermit the Frog standee that's gotta be put up. I don't just have a bike like strewn
It's,
about in the background.
yeah, just
Um,
one bike
it's just
wheel for
one.
your unicycle.
You can see Fozzie there just to
hmm
confirm, but yeah. But yeah,
it looks like a real bike wheel. Just
it does.
the
I mean, it's a good one.
it's a good cutout. It matches the what I assume is the white in the middle of it matches your
Right.
wall really well.
It does. Matches it very nicely. So.
Let's talk about the speaking of Hasbro. Let's talk about their Pulse 1027 event
Yeah, that I
that
thought
happened
was coming up
yesterday,
soon.
and then we'll get an update from you later on your Loot Crate extravaganza here. But let me bring up the thing. So every year for the past 1 years, Hasbro's been having this 1027 event. I don't know. Did they do one 2 years ago? I don't think so. I think last year was the first
Oh
one, but
yeah, I
who
think
knows?
so.
The 1027 event, because this is their corporate office in the background here. Let me make it so you can see my mouse. Nope, that wasn't it. This is their corporate office, and the address is 1027 whatever street. So the event, it was like it was like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
They the whole thing happens within their corporate office. So you do it's kind of cool to see the inside of their office and how they've, where they film the stuff and how they like all the different hallways have like fun street names and stuff. And but anyway, they went through almost every property they have and at least showed you something.
Hmm.
They didn't announce products for everything. I think the notable one is Ghostbusters, where they showed you the proton pack from HasLab, which looks awesome. Like they unboxed it. It comes in like a ridiculously cool box,
Hmm.
massive box, because the thing is huge. They showed how you change the settings on it, which is essentially like disassembling and reassembling it, like as if you're like tinkering with it and stuff. And you
Uh-huh.
can make it go from like classic sounds to the afterlife sounds and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, they didn't announce any new products for Ghostbusters. I'm sorry. They did. They also talked about that board game that they're trying to kickstart or HasLab. This thing, Heroescape.
Oh, that's existed before,
Yeah, yeah, I know. But like this set specifically, they
Right.
talked about like they're adding new. I think it's this little orange guy here and something else. They're adding more figures to it or something.
We used to use this terrain in our comic shop window.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is this specifically the Age of Annihilation, which is
Yeah.
not a cliche name at all. But anyway, they talked about that. But everything else they announced at least a little something, I think. Um, the order on the page, I think, is backwards from the way it was on the thing because I think they just put up, like, stacked them on top of each other as they were doing stuff. But
Stag them to the heavens. Stag them to the
of course, the
heavens.
one that I'm most excited about is Death Saurus, the second, the second coolest Transformer name of all time behind Kill Bison, I think.
That's a pretty badass name.
I know, and you know what's great? All these guys are from Japanese exclusive series. Kill Bison, when he would transform, he would very briefly give you the double deuce. Like that was actually like part of his transformation sequence. And you know what he turned into, of course?
Uh,
An anti-aircraft tank.
oh, I was gonna say a bisexual son.
No, but anyway, Death Saurus is the new HasLab
Yeah,
for Transformers.
looks
It's the
pretty cool.
second one from the Victory Transformers Victory series. The last HasLab was Victory Saber, the good guy leader. This is the bad guy
Okay, yeah,
leader.
yeah.
So this is the bad guy leader. This is his opposite number. He's the leader of in the Japanese show. He's the leader of the Breast Force because they all have little robot buddies that turn into breastplate armor for them. So they are the Breast Force. Unfortunately, here he is in his dinosaur chicken mode. Unfortunately, Hasbro has dinosaur chickened out and changed it to chest instead of breast. I'm very disappointed in this.
I
But
I
his
mean I am always disappointed when it's a chest and not a breast. So
but anyway,
it, it
it
sounded
looks
it sounded worse than I intended it to.
it that's fine. I think you got it. But anyway, it's he comes with it's an extremely long video. I'm not going to play it where they just alternate between these still shots and then shots of him from the cartoon.
Mm.
But you will get him, and he turns into his dinosaur chicken mode and everything. You will get his. Do they actually show the? Oh, they're probably up here. So you'll get, I think, two of his little buddies. So this is his main chest buddy, and turns
Call
into
them what
this
they
thing.
are. Call them what
And
they
there
are.
should be there. I thought there was a second one, right? He comes with two of them. I thought. But anyway,
They usually come in pairs.
and then you get the big sword. So anyway, it's gonna be cool. If we hit all the backers, you get his living metal destroying cannon. That's this thing,
Okay.
and then this flail thing, some blast effects, and I think that's it. And then if you hit the next tier, you get the stand, which is awesome for flying. This doesn't get bigger. I love that you can turn it into this mode, so you could just be his flying chicken mode.
Mm,
And you get a throne of like bones or something. I don't know. It looked really cool for him to sit on,
looks neat.
and then his dudes can perch on it and stuff. So anyway, I'm excited. It's already got. Let me. Oh, I just loaded this page, so it should be accurate. It's already at 4,723 backers, and we
It's
have
about
45
halfway
days
there.
left. Yep. Now,
Unlike the
for
first day. Cool.
comparison, we are the Engine of Vengeance has only 3 days left. It's only about halfway there, and it is.
Is
We are. What was this one? 723. We are less than 100 behind the Engine of Vengeance.
yeah.
So I have
The Engine of Vengeance is also almost twice as much
it
money.
is that
So
drives me crazy. I'm like what I assumed was like, oh, I guess the price of HasLabs are going up or something, but like this thing doesn't feel like half a Unicron to me,
no, I
right?
agree. I mean, I feel, to be fair though, I'm so malleable with these damn things. I feel awful about it. But like when the Sentinel came out, I was like, "Phew,
Foof.
we never gonna pay that much money."
Hmm.
And now that it's here and it's beautiful, and I wish I had one, I find myself going like, because it came out at 350, right?
I think
That
so.
was
Yeah.
like the going rate for, and so I was like, man, no way, no way. And now it's like 700 or 800, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I sell?
Right. My soul. Uh.
And then you just feel like there's a lot of FOMO in this stuff. But again, that particular version of Ghost Rider is just not. I don't think it has a big enough following to warrant this. Like this, because they're so different. Like this character, I've never heard of this character before.
Hmm. You
But the
wouldn't have
beauty,
if you hadn't seen the Japanese show.
right? The beauty of Transformers, though, is that doesn't matter. He's a cool robot.
Yeah.
You know, cool robot is awesome, and paying $180 for a cool robot is like par for the course for a good transforming robot. Like
Yeah.
that's the difference here, I
It's
think.
a ton of little moving parts and everything. It's got to
Yeah.
be. There's a lot of engineering that goes into it. There's going to be a we don't know what he looks like painted, but I'm sure he's going to have a ton of paint apps. He's big, right?
Mhm.
Because Star Saber is pretty big. Um,
Do they say in there how tall he's going to be?
I think so. If
11
not,
inch,
yeah, it's
premium
probably
11-inch
yeah,
figure.
yeah, premium 11 inch. There's a shot down here of him with Star Saber, so it's and of course it doesn't
Okay,
get
yeah.
bigger.
So they're
Yeah, the Star Saber or Victory Saber is actually like two figures that combine, whereas Deathsaurus, and this is the first time in America they're actually calling him Deathsaurus, which I don't think they could do if he was a mainline figure.
uh-huh
They had
because
an
of the death.
because of the death, yeah. They had an homage character to him in Combiner Wars. It was just like they repainted some other toy to be
Mhm.
like a dinosaur chicken kind of thing. And they called him Dezaris, which is what people used to try to Romanize the Japanese name into in America. They're like, it's probably Dezaris or something like that.
Mhm.
It was very clearly always supposed to be Deathsaurus, because how could it not be? Emperor of
Right.
Destruction. I'm just going to let this video play. Oh, God, it's loud. Okay, there we go. I don't think I
Right.
can
We're
get
not getting
dinged
in
for this.
trouble about this.
No, I don't think so. There's no content ID here. Look at that. Look at that robot chicken. This guy is
Is
evil.
quite the robot chicken.
In in the IDW comic, he was actually a rather interesting character because he led his squad of breast men and actually cared about their well-being and stuff. Wanted to make sure they were doing well. Differently than the Decepticon Justice Division, who would hold like therapy sessions and stuff like that to make sure everybody was doing good. So, anywho, that's what's going on in the HasLabs. Let's see what the next thing down is. Okay, so Star Wars. There's a couple of things.
Yeah, I
Not a.
saw
There you go. That's what I
there.
wanted to look
Yeah.
for.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a couple things. We got the one guy from the video game and his little
Mhm.
dude. This is a fun game. I want to play the sequel whenever that comes out. I'm pretty sure that's happening. This guy, I forget his name. Uh,
What is the deal with this? I feel like we've gotten so many damn Boba Fett's.
they
Why is this one special or different than
this one
the
is this one is
other
special
ones that I
because
have?
people are still paying money for Boba Fett,
Right,
and so they
right.
wanted to put out another Boba Fett. That's what the deal with this one is. Um, it I don't I all I remember them saying is that it was to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So
So it's the same Boba Fett figure I already have.
yeah,
Yeah.
does yours come on this card? Does it say
It
40th anniversary in
no,
the corner?
I don't think so, but I did get one on a card like that already that I
Nope.
still opened. I don't think oh, you know what? I don't think mine came with flame effects.
There you go. That's what all the extra cost is for.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Has it got that flame effect?
No, I'm so done. I mean, Star Wars. It. I would be very surprised outside of them creating new characters, which Mando has gotten me to purchase several new figures. I would be very surprised if I ever buy another classic series Star Wars figure at this point. Maybe I still feel like they haven't done Yoda justice yet. The last couple of Yodas are cool, but not. Oh, see, now that's neat.
Hmm.
I like that plastic-free packaging.
I do too. That's very cool. This is the kind of thing they're not going to put in a store, most likely.
Of course not, but still, I mean, at least it's something. That's a handy way to
I had
keep
no idea.
people. No phone order. What?
Yeah, I had no idea that you could just call Hasbro and order these things from Pulse.
Me either.
Do people still have phones? I don't know.
I
I
didn't know
I
that.
was looking into the story behind this one because I at first I thought this was just like, oh, it's a black variant, like the way they do like weird color variants of things. But then it's like, no, no, actually, one time he literally painted himself black so no one would know it was him. So that's why it's called Boba Fett in disguise. You see,
There, yeah,
who
sure.
is this guy? Could be anybody.
Who the hell's this Mandalorian guy?
Yeah, I mean,
Certainly not Boba Fett.
it could
He's
be this
green.
guy. Who knows?
Yeah, can I see that again? Hold it.
Wait, what?
I think that's interesting. Because his legs are like OG, like not full Beskar.
Yes.
Oh, your guy.
Are you talking about my guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like middle
It's
of the
like
road.
right. It's a
Yeah, he's all Beskar
it's
on
a very
top.
interesting take.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is from that one scene where he was in the middle of changing his
it's
clothes.
literally just changing his
Yeah.
they still gotta change the pants. Ah, the pre-pant change.
Yeah.
Um,
They also announced, oh, then they got this guy, but they also announced, scrolling down just a little bit, getting ahead of it, a new Force Effects lightsaber and
so
a,
that's really
was the,
expensive.
was the helmet from 1027? I don't remember.
I'm not positive.
But yeah, I don't want, like, I just spoiled all the stuff. So anyway,
What
moving on. This
the
thing,
hell is that?
this thing was cool until they started to show it. But basically, okay, you see this person from Magic
Uh-huh.
the
Sure.
Gathering?
Yeah.
She's
Sure.
got like these gauntlets and stuff, and she like shoots fire and everything. So they were like, this thing shoots fire. See that fire right there? You see it? See that fire? Um, so when they did they have the video? Because the video that they showed, no, they don't. That's too bad. The video is super cool because it showed this person like suiting up with it and like tightening the straps and everything, and then she's like about to go into battle, and then they're just like with misting technology, and it's just like, psst, and I'm just like, that's so. I was working on stuff and not looking at the screen, but when they said misting technology, I looked at the screen and I was like, oh man, that's cool. It like shoots mist and stuff. And then they're like, yeah, to mimic her fire powers. And I was like, oh, that's that doesn't look like fire. If
Not
she had water powers or misty powers or
right.
something like that, I was like, that's really the fact that you just put water in it and it shoots mist out is very cool. But
There, this, and maybe Hasbro was involved. Um, my daughter got a toy some years ago, which was actually pretty fun, but it was a dragon that had fire breath,
mhm,
and the fire breath was definitely just mist, and then it had like a red flickery light in
yeah,
its mouth as well.
and
So,
that's
well,
that's exactly what this is.
what
It's
was
got
cool about that one though is that it came with a little marshmallow
mm,
that had some very light white fabric on it, so then the mist would wet it and it would look like it was burnt. I was like, oh, that's clever. So did this
okay.
come
That
with any burnable material?
no, just your fingers. Um, but it is. I mean, it is a very cool looking thing. Like even if it didn't shoot the mist, like even if it was just like a light up thing, like I think it looks cool. It's really well done with the leather and everything.
But you know what? It's not. It's not worth $300.
Yeah,
I don't think that there's a.
yeah.
I don't think that there's a Magic the Gathering fan out there. There's probably some, but I don't think there's many that are like, yeah, finally,
Mm-hmm.
I can blow $300 on a Magic thing that's not a card.
Finally, the gauntlet of Chandra Pyromancer.
Now I see again. My I should point out my Magic knowledge goes back a good 20-ish years.
and
Um,
and stops a good like
and right,
19ish years ago.
exactly. So because we got pretty heavy into Magic for about a year there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I still got
And
my decks.
I wish I did. I do. I actually we had a friend who offered to sell me like a huge box of Magic cards for like $20, and I was like, nah. But I really should have because it would have been fun to just have a deck. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
don't need all the cards anymore. I don't need anything like fancy, but just to have a deck to say, yeah, I'll play. My sister and brother-in-law, who just got married a couple weeks ago, they're well, at least he is. I'm not sure if she is. I think they're both into Magic. I know they're both into D&D, but just to have like a deck that I'm familiar with, something I can have a good time with. It'd be fun. But yeah, I haven't played any kind of card game. We tried to play Pokemon. I think we've talked about that before, but I couldn't get into it. I tried, but Magic is where it's at for me. If I'm
Yeah.
going to play any kind of collectible card game, it's going to be Magic.
Pokemon is simple enough. It's like just complicated enough that a kid could enjoy it,
Right.
but it's still it yeah. I agree. Pat, we should do Magic the Gatherings one of these days. You know what we should do? We should buy like hundreds of Magic NFTs and put some NFT decks together. All right, no, we're not going to do that. I hate
Yes.
that idea.
Yeah.
I want to turn your attention to this picture of this guy wondering why this costs $300.
This is $300.
Here's where all the money is. First off, the misting technology, that's easily like $100 right there. All
Totally.
right.
Totally.
The leather and everything, you get 3 gloves. The gloves aren't even part of it. You just put a glove on and then strap this to your arm. Okay. The
And you know
whole
what else is? I can almost guarantee you, none of those gloves would fit this.
I don't know. It's got a pretty big glove, but no, probably not. You're right. Um, I think it's an inductive charger. Not that those are super expensive these days, but it's a nice little base that it sits on. And then you get this big reprint. I mean, the description says you get one magic card, but
You
all the
assume that's
pictures
it?
make it look like you get just one picture of her. So anyway, if this was like, and also premium packaging,
Premium cardboard box.
premium packaging. Okay, that's at least $200 right there. Premium
Right.
packaging.
That's where it is.
So anyway, for all you huge Magic the Gathering fans who want to just mist all over your decks, all right,
I mean, to be
feel
to be
free.
completely honest, I sincerely hope that there was a call for this. That there were people like, where is the
You know,
this thing? I would pay money for it, and now they're giving it to them. But I
you are,
feel like
yeah,
this
you're
is
correct.
probably a cash grab. I
It is
feel like
it.
this is just like hey, we've got enough people who are interested in Magic the Gathering. I bet we could sell them something for a couple $100.
This could have been Hasbro going to Wizards of the Coast and being like, "Hey, we want to make a premium thing. What do you got?" And then being like, "We got this one person who does fire." And I don't know, but my guess is, or my assumption at least, is that Hasbro, like this isn't a HasLab, right?
Right?
Like the HasLabs are, that's not a HasLab. The HasLabs are for when they're not quite sure that there's a market,
Right.
and
That's true.
they took this thing straight to market. So I can only assume that there are definitely enough Magic the Gathering fans out there who are very happy to see this, and
And I'm happy
more
for them.
power to you.
I personally think that they missed the point.
Yeah, good. Moving on. That was a perfect segue to
Yep,
the
perfect.
GI Joe. Now this one I was only half paying attention to, but what I gathered was Mindbender and Serpentor came with the His tank, I
Okay,
believe.
great.
They were like stretch goals for the His tank or something like that, and people were upset. I think if I put this together correctly, people were upset that they had to buy the His tank to get like a Serpentor, so they were like, okay, we're going to release those guys separately
Okay.
as well, so
I
you could
can get
buy
behind that.
them.
I've never been a GI Joe guy, but I love the iconic ones. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
actually trends to be more villainy.
Let me
The villains have better iconography, I guess.
let
But
me and let me tell you, there are no two better villains in terms of design than these two. Like Serpentor has got a snake belt that reaches up and just, it's just there for the nips,
right,
right?
just tickles the nips.
Exactly. And Dr. Mindbender. I mean,
Who
come
has
on.
who has such an amazing schwanz. He's got a
It's
he
it's
built
metal.
a metal apparatus just to hold it up
That weird bikini that Borat wears, he had to make one of those out of metal
out of metal,
to wear over
just
his
to.
normal clothes. Hmm. And then
But
and
I
then they're
mean, to
like,
be fair though, look at that gun. Like that is a kick-ass
"Oh, I
gun.
didn't even notice he was holding a gun. Honestly, I couldn't.
I know.
I
Well,
can't
I
take
mean,
my
with
eyes away."
the cod piece is quite disarming.
Yes, it
But
is.
he is a very cool gun.
It is a very cool gun.
And I mean, he's got a monocle. There's little about this character that is not
Yes,
fascinating.
we're making fun of the design of this guy, but it is such a classic design
Here's
and a
the other
very cool
thing.
figure.
Um, aside from the fact that it's $41, which is just fucking bonkers.
It comes in a
Um,
huge like
I
package with a
don't
bunch of accessories.
care.
Like this feels like they meant this to be like a con exclusive or something, like
Right,
San Diego
right.
Comic Con or something.
Well, you know what's interesting? This is just a quick aside. Um, I heard, we were making fun of Mattel for releasing that He-Man 4-pack.
Hmm.
Remember that? Because they want like $200 for it. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, there is a rumor that that was supposed to be a store exclusive that went awry. And the reason for that was because, the reason for that high price is because they were supposed to have made a much larger amount of them for this store to carry, and which they would have been at a regular price. But the store dropped out, and so they had the initial order, which was very expensive, and they couldn't, spread the cost out over a large production run.
Hmm.
And so they were stuck with this very expensive product. So they tried to make an exclusive through them, because they had it. Like it's better that than just let it like sit in the back room somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, and that's why it costs so much. And I mean, it doesn't really help because I'm not going to buy it because it's just way too expensive.
Yeah.
But like that makes sense with this too. Like maybe it was just because, like they were supposed to be, like maybe it was going to be a con exclusive. Maybe they were going to give it like a Walmart exclusive kind of a thing, and Walmart was like, no, I don't want it.
I'll tell you something interesting.
Walmart ordered it and then canceled it. Essentially, too.
They but Hasbro charged them like every 2 weeks for it until they canceled.
Exactly. Exactly.
I got in the mail today my PulseCon exclusive Transformer set of Alpha Trion and Orion packs.
Oh, nice.
Very cool set. I'll talk about it some other time. But what was interesting was it's a PulseCon exclusive, but it came in a Hasbro shipping box that said SDCC on it.
Ah, yeah. So, see, I think things are still so effed up
Yeah.
from COVID that we're still seeing these kind of like huge delays that are really messing with these kinds of events.
Hmm.
Like maybe these toys, like you said, maybe that was supposed to be a San Diego Comic Con exclusive, and it just missed the mark.
Hmm.
It just couldn't get out in time, and so now they're stuck with it.
Yep.
So,
All right, let's talk Power Rangers because they announced these two guys. Um,
and
Lightning.
the Cobra Kai guys.
We're going to talk about that in a second, Pet. These two guys are
Yeah,
significant. Let me tell you of the significance, okay?
they
They are
were
significant.
significant. Yes, thank you.
Blue Centurion, is a very cool design. He is the first character from Turbo to be correctly labeled as being from Turbo,
Ah,
because they
okay.
came out with the Phantom Ranger, but they labeled him as the Power Rangers in Space Phantom Ranger because
Oh,
he also appeared briefly in that series. But he is from Turbo and made most of his appearances there. And people were like, oh, are they just going to avoid Turbo? But they really wanted to get this character out. But anyway, so now they've got him out, and he is from Turbo.
can
And
I
it's a
ask
very
a
cool
quick
design.
question?
Yeah.
Why is he $34?
So, yeah, we're going to come back to that in just a minute.
Okay, fair enough. Then I would just like to make one other comment.
Hmm.
I like the look of him.
He
And
is
if he
extremely
was
cool.
closer to $20, I might just buy him because he's neat looking.
Yes, he is extremely cool. Now, this guy, his actor was on the convention to announce his own figure, which was very cool. This figure was already released once. It was a Walgreen exclusive that never made it to the Walgreens and showed up on Pulse for like a couple hours once, and Hasbro never announced it. Not that
So it
Hasbro
didn't
has,
happen.
not that Hasbro has to officially announce every single toy, but like it's almost as if they forgot it existed.
Hmm.
I did get it off of Pulse for the brief period that it was up,
Nice.
but now they've officially announced it again. I think the deco is slightly different. Like the silver looks a little bit better actually, but then he comes with his like space motorcycle,
So
which is very
does
cool.
yours not come with a space
Mine does
motorcycle?
not come with a space motorcycle. It was just the guy.
Interesting. Now see, again, I noticed that he is also 33.99.
He is also $33.99, and he comes in a big old box, big enough to fit
Yeah,
this character and this
and
motorcycle.
a motorcycle. See, something like that seems very worth it when a regular figure is 25 bucks these days.
Right.
Look at that
Let me.
face. That guy
It's
just sucked a lemon, but
that's what
like
my
a
character.
really
That's what mine.
expensive lemon.
That's what mine looks like too. Okay, so anyway, this is the box. It's big and square, and it's big enough to fit them all. Now let's go over to this guy who is also the same price, and note that he also comes in a gigantic box for some reason.
Why?
I don't know.
Is he
He
very
is
tall?
No, he's the same height as all the others. Now it's possible that the price is like it, in order to use up that budget, like there's a lot of extra paint apps on him and
There
everything.
is. Yeah, I mean he's
But
intricate and everything,
the
but
accessories are like he comes with a good amount of accessories. He's got blast effects. He's got several different guns. He's got the the stoplight thing. This is the whistle that he uses to call his vehicle.
all right, I got
Um,
another question.
yeah.
Are stoplights blue in
Well,
Japan or
he's from
wherever these
another.
guys are
He's from
from?
another planet.
Yes, but I mean, he's obviously based on like police cars and stoplights and shit.
Because
Why is it the primary colors? I mean, I know Japan is crazy for primary colors.
he's
They
the
love their
blue
primary
Centurion.
colors.
The blue. I cannot explain this, Pat. I
Okay,
cannot. All right.
okay, fair enough.
One time on the show, an evil Italian monster took over the Rangers' cars by
Hey,
throwing
it's a me.
pizzas onto the wheels that controlled the cars, and the blue Centurion used this whistle to tell the car to stop. And he did the boop boop thing. Boop boop,
Uh huh.
and then the pizzas fell off. Okay. This was also the same episode where the Rangers told the monster they were going to toss his salad. So, and then they got baked into a giant pizza. My kids love this episode. He built
I'm
a
sure
giant.
they do.
The Rangers, the monster built a giant microwave, and cooked them. Or no, it was probably an oven. It looked like a microwave, but I'm sure it was meant to be an oven. Anyway, long story short, I don't really know why this guy's $33.99. Like he feels like he's probably like he's got that Finster quality where there's
Uh huh.
more
Yeah,
detail and more
there's
paint, but I don't think Finster costs this much, and I don't know
no.
why he's in a giant box. So in other words,
I never got a Finster.
it
Got a
feels like it should cost more than a normal figure, but not this much.
right.
I don't know what the deal is there. Are there any hints? It probably tells me that he's premium, right? He's 6.6 inches. I wonder if he is slightly taller than the others.
Ever so slightly. Still not $33 worth. I'm
Well,
sorry.
no, it's actually it's $5 for every zero point 0.5 inches is how it works, and then it just anyway. Um, so
That's
yeah, let's
interesting.
let's briefly talk about the Cobra Kai figures because Samantha LaRusso
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
and Daniel LaRusso
I
And then
suppose.
this Common Rider Combat Man, which is a putty. I don't know. I looked up the reference for all of this, and I guess it's a thing.
See,
But
interestingly enough, I think the putty makes the most sense.
okay,
Um, we'll get however you want to do this. This is your show, the Power Rangers part anyway.
the
Um,
Skelleputty.
I think
Explain this to me, because I know there was a time on Power Rangers where the putties were a skeleton outfit, but I know that this is mainly a Cobra Kai reference.
so. Have you never seen? You've never seen the Karate Kid, I have to
Mm-mm.
assume, right? Okay.
No, I've never seen that.
So very famously, in the Karate Kid,
Not famously enough.
there's a sequence where they go to a Halloween dance at the high school, and Daniel is actually dressed as a shower, which makes perfect sense, of course.
Hmm.
And all the Cobra Kai guys are dressed as skeleton guys, and they beat him up.
Hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. It's just what's funny is that it's got almost nothing to do with the show Cobra Kai, because they do like a callback in one of the episodes to that, but that's it. Like, the Cobra Kai is not known for wearing skeleton outfits or anything. It was one time at one Halloween party in reference to the actual 80s movie Karate Kid. Does that happen? Now, I do believe they carry like the Cobra Kai logo on their back and whatnot. Because I looked at this, I thought it was fun. I'm not gonna buy it. There's no way in hell.
There. Yeah,
But
there it is.
yeah, and so that is more indicative of the new show than of, because they did not they were just skeleton outfits. Um,
These guys should also have the logo on the back, I believe.
he
Yeah.
does, yeah, he's got the Miyagi Do. I have to say that this doesn't look a goddamn thing like the person is supposed to
I
look.
don't.
First of all, he has like black hair.
I don't
Like,
understand this
that's a
line.
main thing.
Yeah, I don't understand this line at all because it's like, I mean, it's. I guess it's nice that they made the belt black because it's white on the Rangers, but
Okay.
um, I don't know. It's just weird. Like,
These, I mean, I get it to a point. Like I said, this is kind of a, it's like, oh well, Karate Kid, karate ninja stuff, yeah. So there's a semi connection to what Power Rangers are ninjas and whatnot.
yeah. I mean, this
And
is a Power
so,
Ranger ninja outfit.
right. And so it's like, okay, so it kind of makes sense, I guess. But I mean, they've been doing these things like, for some reason, I don't believe that they don't believe that Cobra Kai merchandise can sell on its own. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but
Well,
because this is the second time they've done this. There was also Ninja Turtle 2 packs,
yeah.
where Playmates made these not very good Ninja Turtles, because like it was a very weird choice. Like, the Ninja Turtles, all of their bandanas were black.
Hmm.
Like, they weren't necessarily dressed like the good guys.
Hmm.
you know, and they were all fighting all of the characters. So like, they were fighting the good guys and the bad guys. Like, it didn't make any sense at all. But it's still, I think, to this moment, the best way to get the characters from Cobra Kai is to find those Turtles 2 packs,
Yeah.
because nobody bought them, and so they were inexpensive, at least for a while there.
And that's the thing that I'm wondering is like, who's the market for these?
Right.
Because it's like, you know, every other time that Power Rangers has done a crossover, like the Ninja Turtle Lightning Collection and the Street Fighter Lightning Collection ones, like
Mhm.
those appeared in other media.
Right.
You know,
Well, maybe this
the
is coming soon. I don't know.
maybe. I mean, what this feels like, it's like if you were just a Cobra Kai fan, you're like, ooh, do I really want a Cobra Kai that kind of sort of looks like the person, but
Right.
just wearing a Power Ranger outfit? Like, where does that go in my collection? And
Yeah.
if you're
It's just a weird.
yeah, I mean, I
I guess
guess
in the
this is for
close-ups
the
I can kind of see the likeness a little bit better, but again, his hair is black, like a
yeah.
dark brown at the very least. And then this is
Her
his
hair looks
daughter on the
weird.
show. Her hair does kind of look like that though.
It does. Okay.
She's kind of a weird, like, I don't know. She's kind of a funny. I feel like she's somebody's actual daughter.
Probably, Pat. I would assume that
Because
she is.
she's
Yeah.
not like a super good act, or I think she does a lot of actual martial arts on the show. They could have hired her for her martial arts
Oh,
skills
so she's
instead
like
of
an
her acting chops.
so she's basically like an actual Power Ranger.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Moving on.
yeah, not good, not good.
All right.
This
they
This.
revisited this thing to tell us, because they had already announced this one before, but they revisited it to tell us that there is actually a slight amount of paint on it.
I like this. I don't know if I like it $25 worth. I haven't pre-ordered it yet.
It
And the
is.
other thing is I've been pretty good about sticking with only X-Men from this line.
Mhm.
I think I got a Hulk and like a Captain America snuck in there. Um, but
There's
if I was gonna do anything, like this is a good one. This is a
there
really
is something like I've seen a lot of people complain about the fact that the bike is basically entirely red with just a little bit of paint on it, but like there's something about that that
yeah.
appeals to me. Like, you look at the actual drawing of it and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like a demon bicycle, right? It's
Right,
not like
right.
a guy
It's a
painted his whole bike, like dipped
bicycle.
it in paint, right?
Now, what would have benefited this, and if I do buy it, I might do is just a quick black wash.
Yeah, that would look cool.
You know what I mean? Like that
I
would
mean, look,
fill
I mean,
in all the.
that's
It would
kind of what
look
this looks
just
like.
like this. You know,
Yeah.
it would give you just enough of the detail would show through. And
It's
I
got
mean,
his,
I don't know.
it's got
It's
his famous logo on it, a picture
yeah,
of his own
totally.
unflaming head.
That's like what would be on the Ben Cooper chest. The the costume chest of, and it would say Ghost Rider real big right behind it. Yeah, I keep going back and forth on that one. I think it's a really nice figure. I just don't know if I have. I don't. I'm hitting a wall again in collecting where I'm just like, ugh,
Hmm.
I don't even know where anything's gonna go anymore. So
So they've started a Spider-Man the animated series
yeah,
VHS line.
yeah,
This is a single pack, like this is a single box that is connected.
uh huh.
But you get Carnage and you get Black Suit Spider-Man with the weird blue and you know
I think it's good though. Really, I mean,
it.
here's the thing. It. I don't like how fucking much stuff costs.
Yeah, that's
$53 is a lot. I mean, it isn't because, like I said, we were talking earlier. I just got hit with Big Bad Toy Store telling me three of my Marvel Legends are in, and I was like, oh shit. I gotta. They weren't supposed to be in for like 3 or 4 months, and so I gotta rearrange my budgeting. But I was like, oh, like that was it's $75. You know what I mean? It's
hmm
but looking at this, it's like, $52. Fuck that. But then I was like, ooh, do I want to fuck that?
Well,
I
let me
might
tell
want
you
to fuck
something. I
that.
I pondered on this one for a long time because I'm collecting the X-Men ones.
Right.
They're behind me there. I have to add the morph box. I haven't added the morph box to the collection yet. Hey, I'm doing a podcast. Go to bed. Sorry, my cat's telling me he wants to snuggle. Um, the I went back and forth on these,
Hmm.
and I do love Spider-Man the animated series.
Right.
So I pre-ordered this,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep that pre-order or not.
I
Didn't
feel the same way. I think I'm gonna pre-order it, and then I might think on it a while.
Yeah.
Now you've already missed two pieces
I was going to ask about that because I was fair because
technically.
yeah, I looked at the when this first came out, I was like, "Ooh, they're doing this" because the box says 1 and 2. But then I was
Right.
like, "I swear we already had like a Venom or something, right?"
Yeah, there was a Venom and there was the Spider-Man, though, like the regular Spider-Man, but both of those came out on retro cards
Yeah,
and
and
not the
that's
VHS boxes.
I generally only want the
So
VHS box ones.
there is a chance we'll revisit those. I actually hope they do because I missed out on the Venom and I really liked that Venom.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, leave it to Hasbro to just take that exact same figure and just stick it in a VHS box, right?
Absolutely, that's a total Hasbro move.
Hmm.
And the Spider-Man was like a Walmart exclusive, and I never even saw it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel
Is
like
that part of I guess that's part of the
yeah,
Marvel
it's Marvel. If you click on the Marvel Retro, you might find them there. Um,
Marvel Retro.
well, keep going. Let's see. I do love those little guys. They're fun. I kind of wish the Black Cat was. Uh,
This Apocalypse is very cool.
I really like the sculpt. I just wish he was differently colored.
Hmm. Well, that's the thing is I kind of dig the purple. And like
It's not bad.
we were talking because it came in
Yeah,
the mail for me, and I didn't
it
remember
looks better
ordering
in
it, but
hand. I actually feel like.
yeah, it's come on, light. Yeah, it's very cool. I wasn't planning to show it off, but it was sitting here because it came in the mail. And this packaging is massive. But yeah, it is a really good sculpt. It's going to look good with the like on the same shelf as the animated series guys.
Mhm.
But no, they don't have the Spider-Man sitting here unless it's part of a different series. Spider-Man?
Yeah, just yeah, see what happens there. They should
Spider-Man.
at the very least they should show off the Venom.
Spider-Man.
He was
They
on
don't
here.
have it at all.
That's weird.
I'm just going to search for Venom.
Yeah, just yes, search it up because I'm pretty positive they came on the card like the X-Men do.
Is this really their most popular products?
No,
I feel like it's been months and months, or every time I go to search, it shows me these four products.
those are probably their least selling. There he is. Yeah, I really loved him because he had the both the
Yeah,
color scheme,
that is
the
nice.
red and the blue on there, and it just screams the
And
old cartoon show.
and the reason that I didn't get it was because it wasn't in the VHS box. They did not speak my language.
The reason I didn't get it was because it like sold out before I found out that it was a thing.
Hmm. All right, let's talk. I think this is going to be the
Can we,
last thing.
wait, real fast. These goofy ass things. I'm not saying I won't buy one.
This is exactly what I wanted to talk about because when they were first talking
Okay.
about these, I was like, "Oh, this sounds really dumb," because they just had the dice, like they had them in dice form out,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Oh, transforming dice, haha, that's whatever." But then I'm like, when they showed them, I was like, "Okay, these are actually really cool."
Now, are they like Bakugan? Like when you roll them,
No,
will they pop up?
no, I don't think so. I
Oh,
believe
that kind
you.
of sucks. I really wanted that to be a thing.
No, I think you have to transform them in 8 steps.
Ah.
But they're
Well,
really cool
I
because
mean
they're
that's fun,
large, they're posable.
right?
Someone asked me if you could use them as actual dice, and I was like, I probably wouldn't.
You
Like, I mean,
can
you
look at
can. Like, they got
there.
numbers on, but like, they're probably not
I'm
properly
sure. Right.
weighted,
Right.
you know. But like this owl bear looks really cool.
It's
That's what it's
for
called, right? Yeah, owl
me.
bear.
I think so. For me, I think the saddest part is that the worst looking one is that one, and that's the one I would have wanted.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's
he
kind of
looks
weird that
pretty
you basically like crack it
goofy.
open, and
Right.
you still got half a dice on him, half a die. Hello.
But I'll probably I think that these are going to be a real niche thing.
Yeah,
And so I'll wait for these to go on clearance and then maybe I'll buy one of the dragons.
this dragon is awesome though. Like
It's very awesome.
for the little amount of paint that it has, like the
Mhm.
sculpted detail is really awesome.
Now again, much like everything else, the prices are so inflated. I feel like this is definitely like a $7 toy. The fact
I
that it's $14 is a lot
these
for me.
these things are fairly large, like much larger than actual dice.
Sure.
I don't know that. I mean, this if this was like I mean, it's in line with all the other pricing.
It
You
is.
know, it's not
I'm
like
not
it's
saying I'm
yeah,
not saying these in particular are overpriced. I'm
right.
saying in general, toys cost too much.
They also
I
announced
would have bought all of these actually. The animated figures, I
yeah,
think they're awesome looking. But
I
again,
think
25 bucks a piece is a lot to ask for a Saturday morning cartoon. I only kind of remember.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they had already announced some of these, but I think they just announced these two yesterday. I
No,
don't remember.
they were all released.
Maybe they were just showing them
Because
off
out of
again.
they all came out of nowhere. That was the
Yeah.
best part. Like they was like, guess what? We've got the old animated series line, and guess what? You can order it right now.
Hey,
So,
in case you know, wanted to put stuff in perspective, like this cube,
yep,
the gelatinous cube is the same price as the Blue Centurion.
it's
And this
there.
has
You go.
zero action features. It has 0 points of articulation.
Does it really not? I thought that one came with a figure in it, but no, nothing, huh?
I don't think so, because
Wow.
I think
Oh,
you're
see, I was seeing the picture there. I thought that it came with the
no,
which Chris is that Pine?
Chris Sycamore. I don't think it does.
Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah,
That
no,
first of all, that's super misleading. If I saw this box, I would 100% assume that there was a figure inside.
but it does do this. Like you see where he's reaching through there.
Yeah.
They showed this off. Like that's the act. That's one of the action features. Is you can take there it is. You can pop off one of these things that's stuck in it, and then they can reach their hand out, and there is like a thing on the inside that can hold them up in a pose. So it looks like they're stuck in the gelatinous cube. So anyway, cube
Yeah.
time. All right, let's move on, Pat, because I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's talk about some of these trailers that came out. So we've got this special presentation coming up around Christmas time for the Guardians of the Galaxy um, holiday special.
I like that. First of all, I just love the notion that they're doing a Christmas special,
Hmm.
and it is appropriately ludicrous.
Yep. This is a, just to be clear, this is not like a movie. This is a Disney Plus,
Right. So
probably
this
like
is
one
yeah.
episode ish
Oh,
thing. Yep.
almost for sure one episode. I think it's probably going to run maybe an hour. That kind of
Yeah.
a thing.
Right. Yep. 40
Um,
minutes or something.
I like how disheveled Chris Pratt is in it. He's meant to be like it. He like they say in here. Like look at him. He is a beat down. Like he needs a haircut.
Hmm.
He's just not having a good time.
Right.
Um, and they talk about how he misses Gamora so much.
Yes.
And then MacGuffin, they're just like, I just saw on the calendar that Earth is celebrating Christmas around this time right now. And
Yeah.
it's very silly.
That that
Um,
that Star Lord has an up to date Earth calendar or something
right,
like that.
right. Well, I mean, they were just there, right? So he probably picked one up. Why not?
This has real like uh this has real like Star Trek The Voyage Home vibes to it. Like they were gonna walk around asking where the nuclear vessels are and stuff like that. I'm enamored with this whole idea.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be awesome. And they're at a club
Hmm.
dancing.
What about someone special, Pat?
What about some?
What about someone
Is
special?
Drax, puffed up? He looks like he got stung by a bee.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. I gotta go back. No, I think that's just what he looks like.
All right, that's fair.
But who do they get?
They get the legendary Kevin Bacon.
The legendary Kevin
And
Bacon.
I think the best part about it is that they actually are chasing after the real Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a. Yep, there he is. Yeah, it is the real Kevin Bacon who was in the X-Men franchise.
Yep, yep. So
Killed
not
he's famous for killing the one character whose power is that he adapts to survive any situation,
yep. Hate
and
it.
the only black character.
Yep.
So yeah, so they go and get Kevin Bacon, and then he
Well, they at
runs
least
away.
try to get Kevin Bacon.
I
We're
think
not.
I think they're gonna get him. I think is the thing, as I think they're gonna get they're gonna
I
get him.
I don't know why they're able to bounce. I'm intrigued to find. All of this is intriguing to me. I love Christmas specials. I hope this is an amazing one. Um, this is one of two of the last hurrahs of
Tim Gunn.
James Gunn in the
Tim Gunn.
Marvel in the
Make
Marvel
it work, people.
universe. Um, so things that have
Now,
happened recently that we'll get into later have made it pretty clear he is done with the Marvel universe.
are you sure? Like Kevin Feige could direct a DC movie if he wanted to. I bet, like they
I mean,
wouldn't turn him
I
away.
bet DC would be like, okay, okay,
Yeah, they would. Can you redirect our Flash movie?
please. He's like, I'm not even a director. Get away from me.
They should probably stop trying to make the Flash movie at this point. Stop trying to make Flash happen. Uh,
Anyway, this
Holiday
looks.
special.
I November 25th, less than 1 month away. I
Yep.
can hardly wait.
The holiday specifically is Thanksgiving, in case you were wondering. Um, all right. So Wakanda Forever trailers have been coming out for a while. I threw this in here. There's really actually nothing in this trailer that I wanted to specifically talk about, other than that I think this is going to be a pretty good movie.
I think so too. I don't know. I keep coming back to the notion that I don't know. I
It's
I
gonna be,
miss
it's
Chadwick
gonna,
Boseman
yeah,
too much
it's gonna be
to
difficult.
be excited about the movie per se. I think it's going to be good. I mean,
Hmm.
they obviously are going to make a good movie. I think, um, but it just still bums me out so much that he's gone. Um,
Woo.
you know, I don't know. I'm very hopeful that everything is going to be really awesome and cool and fun. It looks like it's going to be like the trailers, but I don't know. I
Namor's got
can't.
his little,
He's
he's
got
got
his
his ankle
wingling feet.
wings, which is awesome.
I
I'm that
saw
that
that. I saw him flying around this little
this
wings.
scene right here, where she's like running on the wall
Uh
and
huh.
like doing flips and somehow like jumping away from the wall, but then coming back to the wall somehow. Like gravity seems to be turning itself on and off during
I
this
mean,
scene, which I love.
we're 99% sure here at this point that it's Shuri
I
in the
that is
suit.
what everybody is assuming. Yeah,
Like they Marvel hasn't said so,
right.
but like literally everything. Like, doesn't she even have the guns?
I have no
Like the
idea.
Shuri handguns at one point, and I mean the dots are like exactly the way they were on her face when she has them on her face. Anyway, her being techie, maybe she's got some sort of magnetic thing
Sure.
that's pulling her back towards this wall. You know,
Yeah, they
as
got
long as they
technology.
give me some kind of explanation, I don't care.
All right.
that's that's where I'm at with all the tech that they want to throw at me in these movies. I'm good if you just say, "Oh, well, I just utilized the property and
hmm
quantum physics." Done.
All she's doing is reversing the polarity.
Sure,
You know,
done. That's
that's
great.
it.
That's it. It's easy. It's easy
All right.
peasy.
What do you think about Quantum Mania?
I love everything about it. Except for what's her name's haircut.
Oh yeah. Well,
I
I
don't
don't
think
really like
it's
his haircut either, but to be honest, but
well, that's true enough. I'm very
not her haircut.
intrigued
Hold on. Her
to
haircut's okay.
her haircut's okay.
Where's
Also,
she doesn't show up in the trailer for a little bit, does she?
Did Cassie get recast again?
I
Like
wondered that
it's
too.
not
I
the
cuz
girl from
I
uh
didn't
End or
did
Endgame? Yeah,
is her
Endgame.
hair a different color? Like it might be the same actress and her hair is lighter or something. I
I
don't know.
don't know. I feel like I recognize this actress, like from I don't know from what, but I recognize her from something. But I don't. She's obviously not the little girl from the first Ant-Man movie.
hmm
I also think Evangeline Lilly, like all I remember is that she said some crazy shit. Um, Maybe not crazy shit, but she said some stuff about not vaccinating and stuff. So they may have pulled her back a little bit in
Mm.
this. Maybe I don't know. Bill Murray was there for a second.
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
thought
Hold
that
on.
was
There
fun.
he is.
There he is. Hey, perfect, perfect. I
hmm
don't know if that's a piece or if that's his, if that's just the way they
It's
brush his hair to
it's
the one
CGI.
side. But he looks good. He
It's
looks
entirely
good.
CGI hair.
That could be too. Um, I hear he's supposed to be a bad guy, but nobody there's nothing confirming anything. I heard that he was supposed to be a bad guy in the movie though.
He's
Or if he's the bad
obviously,
well, he's not the bad guy because I think
yeah.
the bad guy is
He's
Kang.
he's clearly very small in the movie.
Right, right. It's a small role.
Yeah.
Uh what
So
are we on with
there he is.
that?
There's the king, the
Oh
kingster.
man.
I don't know if
I
I can get a better shot of that or not.
Probably not. I'm
I
so
think that's it.
excited that he looks exactly the way I wanted him to.
hmm
We saw him as the what do they call him? The one who survives or whatever.
He who remains. You were close.
He remains.
hmm
Um, and he was cool there, because you don't want to tip your hand anyway. You couldn't make him look exactly like we all thought he was going to look. But he's got like that helmety thing, and he's got the marks on his face, and
Yeah.
it
The
just
helmet
looks
apparently makes
good.
his skin blue because later on you see him.
Right, he's normal, but
I think
I
he's
think
still
it's
wearing.
definitely
Actually,
a
he might be
light
wearing a
of some
different outfit
sort.
entirely.
Might be. I really liked in the beginning when they were like, "Thank you, Spider-Man."
hmm Just like in No Way Home, where they call Spider-Man Ant Man.
Yep, yep. And Bruce, when he came back in Endgame, was like, "What? There's a Spider-Man and an Ant-Man."
So
So
anyway,
very.
Ant Man and possibly the Wasp, Quantum Mania. In all of my clicking through here, I don't think we saw the Wasp at all.
Like I said, she's definitely seems to be like not super main. Look at those guys; look really cool. Are those guys that I don't know about? Like, are the I want this action figure with the
This is yeah, this is
thing.
a Kamen Rider villain in the middle here for sure. Um, I don't know. They look awesome.
They do. They do.
Where
So
is where is what's her face? Because I know she's in here because she's got the weird haircut
if you
again. She's like back to the other. She's got a weird haircut in the first movie too. There she
she
is,
does, but like this one looks like it's almost like a
like a
wig.
wig. Yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't look natural.
No.
So I mean,
No.
but in the first movie, doesn't she just have like a bob?
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks weird.
So it does, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember her, but I also Shuri did too. They both said some like wackadoo shit about
Hmm.
uh not vaccinating, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, Shuri just got a timeout, and then they brought her back and made her Black Panther. So,
Right. So that's all you need.
yep.
It's the
Quantumania.
words.
I am
Um.
not looking forward to trying to spell Quantumania as this movie gets closer and people start talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I am looking forward to the movie though. I love Paul Rudd. Like I've never watched a Paul Rudd movie, including that one Halloween he was in, and that was pretty rough. But I have never watched a Paul Rudd movie and thought, man, I hate Paul Rudd in this. No, never happened.
No, he's never the problem with any movie
No.
that he's been in.
He's always the best part of the movies that he's in.
Hmm. Yep. So, you know, looking forward to seeing the next trailer for this one where the kid goes off the cliff in a wheelchair. You know, that scene from Quantum Mania.
Yeah, yeah. And then Mac pops his head up.
Yep. Do you have
All right.
anything else you want to talk about today?
You know, I did. It's funny because
Hmm.
I saw it earlier. I was like, oh yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah, what was it?
And I forgot all about whatever it was. So,
I'm gonna hit
um,
the hang up button, and that'll help you remember.
this like punishments.
Well, no, it's like you always
Yeah,
remember, like as
gonna
soon as it's too
beat
late.
you. That's true enough.
Hmm.
But yeah, in general. Oh, we didn't talk. We had a plan, Brian. We had a plan. We didn't talk about the one big thing.
Okay, fine. Let's talk. I mean, we hinted at it, but go ahead.
So, um, the James Gunn is taking over the DCU.
Hmm.
James Gunn and some other guy who I'd not heard of, but I'm sure is a big deal.
Yep.
They're gonna like take over um the DCU universe. Is it the
The
DC
DC.
cinematic
No, it's
universe?
the DC
Or is it?
extended universe. The
No, it's not.
DCEU. The
They cut the E
DCCU.
out. The E is
The
gone.
oh crap.
It's just DCU now.
DCU is what the comic universe is called.
Not
It's the
anymore. Or
DC universe.
maybe it's just the whole shebang is the DCU now. Ever
DCU is the
since
name of
they
the video
took
game.
over,
The MMO.
um, ever since they took over, now it's this way. So here's my general thoughts. James Gunn is awesome in general. I think that most of his superhero projects have been successful as far as I can tell. You know, as far as my tastes go.
Hmm.
He is responsible for giving us a perfect um, movie Harley Quinn.
Hmm.
And if he can apply this kind of thing to the entire DCU, um, then I'm there for it. I'm happy to start seeing like correctly portrayed versions of these characters. I'm going to do a little bit of spoiler alert because I don't even know because I didn't see it, but
I
I know
should
what
make a
happened.
spoiler alert button for the thing.
He should,
And it
yes.
should be like, wah, 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 spoiler alert. Okay, sorry, go
Um,
ahead.
but spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen Black Adam and intends on seeing Black Adam.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is a big one.
Um, you guys ready? Okay.
Hold on. Let me hang up the thing so they can't hear you. Good.
um, Superman makes an appearance at the end. I think I assume it's an end credit scene, but I
It
really
is. It's a mid-credit scene, I believe. Which
um,
which Superman though is it though, Pat?
it's Henry Cavill. Uh,
Yeah.
And
Henry.
on top of it, um, people were putting a bunch of side by side pictures. He is in the most brightly colored version of his costume he's ever been in, because Zack Snyder was not involved.
Mhm,
It is clearly yellow behind the S, and the suit is a royal color.
mhm.
Um, and so it is a very hopeful idea. Like I really liked his portrayal, just not his movie.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like when I first heard that, I was like, oh man, I really thought we were gonna recast him and move past the Snyderverse. But then as I was thinking about it, it was like I didn't have any problem with him as Superman. It was just
Right.
the movies that
Yeah.
like the
He
plot.
was given such a dark role that, and I think James Gunn is smart enough to brighten up Superman.
Yeah, right.
Superman should be a brighter character. Like, bad things can happen in a Superman movie. Like that, I mean, and I don't want to get too far into this because I could go for a long time on this. A lot of people I know really dislike Superman as a character, and I get it. He's way overpowered, and really the only way to beat him is to allow the character to suffer into the tropes of his own character and just be like, oh golly, I can't beat you up because you have a very frail person I like, you know. But I always found Superman to be a very interesting character because, or well, this the other thing. The flip flop of that is you will see Superman go crazy with grief or whatever, and finally give in to his dark impulses. But in truth, the Superman that has always appealed to me is the fact that this guy could literally rip the world in half. He
Hmm.
has the ability, he has the power to
Hmm.
take anything that he wants, but he doesn't. He
Right.
does the right thing. He does the good thing. He takes care of people rather than ruling people. He saves people from themselves sometimes. He does all these things that he doesn't have to do. And what I think is funny is that the people who don't get that um miss the point of the character.
I saw a person on Twitter once, not too long ago, say that the I'm going to try and this is a paraphrase, but they said like the portrayal of Superman in the Zack Snyder movies is the first correct interpretation because Superman is essentially a god and he shouldn't care what anybody else is up to. Like he shouldn't be saving people falling out of buildings and stuff. Who cares about those people? He's way above them, you know. And I was like, God, this that's why people like these movies because they fundamentally misunderstand the character.
Right, right. They think of themselves in that role.
Hmm.
They want to be Superman because they could do
Right.
whatever they wanted. They could get any babes they want and just walk into a bank and take money. And it's like, what does a guy like Superman even give a fuck about money? Like, let's be serious. He has the Fortress of Solitude. He has his Kryptonian technology that, from what I can tell, will give him anything he wants.
I'm not even 100% sure he needs to eat food.
I don't know that he does.
He
I
doesn't
really
need to
don't
breathe
know.
air, at least
Right.
not for, he can go without it for long periods of time at least.
Yeah. And so again, like my very favorite interpretation of Superman really does come from, oddly for me, because I hate his Marvel work, but Grant Morrison does such a good job with DC characters. All-Star Superman is like the pinnacle of yeah. And I read an interview with him a long time ago when he was doing All-Star Superman, and he basically said, he's like, I've never understood the way other people, portray Superman, as like this stressed out guy or whatever. Like, he should be the most carefree, cool guy you've ever met.
Hmm.
He should be like the guy who just sits down and plays with a dog for a couple minutes, you know, because what's going to stop him from doing that?
Yeah.
He has this upbeat Kansas attitude of can do because he was brought up by the Kents in that, you know, schlocky, happy go lucky kind of a way. And I think it is a misstep when they take his character and like, no, we have to shove it down, we have to make it dark, we have to make it broody, because if not, he's just a big blue Boy Scout and blah 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 blah. Again, one of my very favorite parts of a Superman story is when he comes up against, like this was, I think, I'm sure it was done in the comic books too, but my favorite interpretation was in the Justice League Unlimited, I think, when he meets up with Darkseid and he starts just pounding him. And he says something to the effect of, I live in a world of cardboard and
Yeah.
I have to pull every punch, but not with you. I can I can go all out.
Yeah. Because you could take it.
And just getting to see the two sides of him in that way. Like, he didn't want to murder Darkseid,
Hmm.
but he knew Darkseid could take every bit of his punches,
Hmm.
and it was going to take every bit of him to defeat him. You know, and that kind of story. Those are the stories that I want to see. Those are the kinds of things, like like showing Superman as an absolutely good character, like from core all the way out, is what makes him interesting to me.
Hmm.
He doesn't have to be.
I would have. They could have redeemed the Snyderverse if they did like a second Man of Steel movie
Mhm.
where Superman is absolutely wrecked from having to kill Zod.
Right,
Right?
right,
Like. I am fine if you want to do like, well, Superman had no choice; he had to kill him to save that family.
sure,
Like, but the movie is just like he's immediately overcome with guilt, and then and then immediately after that he's fine. You know,
right. Fine.
it's like
And
I.
then that's the give and take. That was why it was okay. Like, I remember all these discussions. Man of Steel. There were so many deaths that had to happen because they were fighting through buildings and shit. And why don't we feel the same way about Marvel movies? Because a lot of people had to die in the invasion in New York. The X-Men, the Avengers couldn't be everywhere, and all this stuff. And all that's true, except for the Avengers were put in a no-win situation that they did the best they could.
Mhm.
Superman was like, oh, sure.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll punch this guy through a building. Who cares?
Right. I don't care. I'm gonna do all this crazy destruction because it looks cool, and then at the end, I'm gonna murder this guy to save those two people. I probably killed 1,000 people today,
Hmm.
but this family, now there's a little kid there. I can't let that happen. So I break this guy's neck, and I'm immediately like, no.
Yeah, Marvel, like the invasion of New York, the heroes are going out of their way to save people.
Right.
They're not saving everybody. Like the movie isn't trying to imply that a lot of people aren't dying, right? But
Absolutely.
whenever they can, they try to save people. Like Captain America, like takes a grenade to save people. You know, that's the difference, right?
Right.
Like in
Absolutely.
Star Trek
So.
Into Darkness, which came out around the same time as Man of Steel, like they blow up a there's a terrorist attack that blows up a building and stuff,
Right.
and then they have like a funeral for the people who died, and everybody's sad. Like it's not just like, oh yeah, that's in the background, that's just
Right.
casualties, whatever, and then we move on. It's like it's acknowledged and it's shown to be like this was unavoidable and it was bad and everybody feels bad. Like it's fine that people die in movies, right?
Right.
It's
Well,
just how you handle it.
I think the other problem I always had is that Superman is the character that always finds a way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And the fact is he absolutely could have not killed Zod. Now,
Yeah.
granted, maybe Zod is stronger than him, right? Like maybe that's the idea. Is like, oh, he's gonna turn those optic blasts on those kids, and you can't stop him unless you kill him. Fly,
Yeah.
jump,
Right.
Put
Smash the ground. Let them
put your
fall.
hand over his eyes. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Let
a
the
million things that you could have done aside from snap his neck,
Yeah.
that the
it's and
character
it's
should have
and it's
should have
not like
easily been able to think of.
right. And it's not like as a writer, you're just like, well, I've backed myself into this situation where we have
Right,
to. It's like the goal was to put Superman in a position
right,
where he had to kill Zod, and it's like on the one hand, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that if there was going to be no story payoff for it.
right.
But if you were gonna go there, you could have also done it in a better way. Like
Right.
you said, like there's
Like
literally no other choice.
actually make it like literally he has just got no other options. And again, like when you do see Superman go dark, I like it when it's very creative. You know, there
Mhm.
was I can't remember what the story was, but they made an animated movie out of it, and I saw the film. I think I can't remember who he was fighting, but there were these guys who basically handed Superman his ass early on in the movie, and then he comes back at the end and like I'm not sure that they make it very clear in the movie as they do in the comic books, but he tricks them into thinking he fucks them up really bad. Basically, like he tells the leader at some point, like he's going on about how what he's like. They're like, "What are you gonna do?" And then the leader just goes like slack jawed and goes like, "Well," and he's like, "I've just given you a lobotomy." And he goes through the explanation of how he used his X-ray vision and his microscopic vision and his heat vision to make a small incision above his forehead, and he's actually just and the guy is like crying and like, "Ugh," and he's like, "Nah, I'm just kidding. I just applied some pressure to the back of your head. You're fine." And the guy like falls on the ground. Um, and it's just like that was Superman teaching a lesson. Like that
Yes,
was like a dad lesson.
exactly.
You know, like that
Right.
he's like, listen, I could have,
And then
and
he's
I
like,
did.
and just remember,
I did
statistically,
it
it's
at the
still the
time.
safest way to fly. You know,
Yeah,
it's like you learn a lesson.
absolutely.
I I wanna finish up here, but
Yeah,
I since we brought up the animated movies, I want to talk about my favorite one, which I think was Justice League Doom, which is the adaptation of the Tower of Babel. I think it's the
oh,
Tower of Babel
yeah,
story, you know, where
Tower
they
of
get
Babel.
Batman's files.
Yes, yes, that's one of my favorite stories.
That movie, so the story in the comic is amazing because it's like this mystery and it's like really dire for everybody, you know. And then it like at the end when it turns out it's like essentially Batman's fault, it like strains relationships and stuff. In the movie, the plot is like Vandal Savage is going to launch a rocket to do stuff, and I don't remember what the rocket was going to like end the world
Uh-huh.
or whatever. But in order to keep the Justice League from stopping him, he got Batman's files and did all the stuff and everything. But it's like they spend the entire movie unraveling all the mystery of who tried to kill all of them, and they get to the rocket ship just in time to stop it. And it's like if you had just left them alone, you would have just launched your rocket. They would have had no idea you were doing this. They would have never got there in time. You just had a rocket like out in the middle of nowhere. You just launch it. That's it.
Right.
You know, it's like he screwed himself over by being like, oh, the Justice League will definitely stop me. But no, all he did was like lead a, and so that's why I like it because it's nonsensical, but also, I mean, you could look at it from the point of view of like, yeah, he sabotaged himself.
Right.
The movie doesn't play it that way. The movie, but that's how I like to imagine it
I
went.
think that's pretty awesome.
All right, Pat. I think we're going to finish it up for the day. So
Sounds good.
you and I are going to try to figure out how to do some stuff on Twitch because we're finding that we get more traction on Twitch than YouTube, and so we might be moving our stuff over to Twitch. Who knows? But that stay tuned for that.
At the very least, we're probably gonna play some games. So,
Yeah, exactly. That new Gotham Knights game came out. I haven't played it yet,
ooh, okay.
but you can do. It's a single player game normally,
Uh-huh.
but my understanding is that you can seamlessly move in and out of multiplayer. So like you and I could play separately and play the game whenever we want to do our own thing, and then just like one of us just jumps into the other's world and does stuff is how they describe the way it works.
I mean, that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Check out our social media, join our Discord, whatever, and we'll talk to you later. I'm hitting the button. Are you gonna say goodbye? Oh, there we go. Weirdo.